In the vast, war-torn galaxy of the 41st millennium, countless battles are fought, heroes rise and fall, and worlds are lost and reclaimed in the endless struggle for survival. Deep within the hallowed halls of terror, in the vaults of the Adeptus Administratum, lie the chronicles of the Imperium, the stories of those who have given their lives to defend humanity. These are the unsung tales preserved in the shadow of history, where war is eternal and faith is the only light in the darkness, the records of sacrifice and glory. These are the Imperium Archives. Episode 1, The Hammer's Wrath. The sky above Cadia was burning. Amid the smog and flame of the eternal war against the dark, the last bastions of the Astra Militarum held their ground. But their ranks were thinning, their cries of defiance drowned by the tide of chaos. High above the battlefield, upon the bridge of the Imperator's judgment, stood Commissar Varencourt. His black greatcoat, soaked in the blood of traitors, billowed in the ash-choked wind. His eyes, hard as iron, scanned the field below as a massive horde of heretics surged toward the Imperium's trenches. Demons screeched from the warp rift above, drawn to the carnage like vultures to a dying beast. Beside him, the towering figure of Lord Castigator Maltha, a veteran of the Adeptus Astartes, was a sight of awe and terror. His armor, black as midnight and emblazoned with the aquila, radiated the power of the Emperor's chosen. In one gauntleted hand, he gripped a thunder hammer, crackling with ancient energies. "We cannot hold," growled Varen. "The traitors are endless." "We shall hold, Commissar," Malthor replied, his voice as deep and cold as the void. "For we are the hammer. We are the Emperor's wrath." The earth trembled as a defiler broke through the ruins, its twisted, multi-limbed body scuttling toward the trenches. Its demonic roar echoed across the battlefield, announcing the coming slaughter. Yet, in the shadow of the behemoth, stood one man, a lone guardsman, his lasgun shaking in his grasp, but his eyes locked onto the monstrosity. Malthor saw him and knew what was to come. The Emperor watches. With a bellowing war cry, the guardsman charged. His lasgun spat fire at the creature, but its armor deflected the shots like raindrops. The defiler's claws swung in a deadly arc, but the guardsman didn't falter. He fired until his gun was spent, then drew his combat knife, his voice roaring in unison with the machine's howl, but death came swift. A single swipe, and the guardsman was crushed beneath the defiler's claws. The horde cheered in triumph. "Glory to the fallen," Varen whispered. "The Emperor protects." Lord Malthor moved without hesitation. With a single step, the towering space marine leaped from the command platform. He fell like a comet, his thunder hammer raised. The ground quaked as he landed amidst the chaos horde, and his hammer struck with the force of a god. The defiler crumpled beneath the blow, its demonic roar silenced as it was split in two, its blackened machine innards spilling onto the dirt. Malthor stood tall amid the carnage, his hammer sparking with holy vengeance. His voice boomed across the battlefield, a beacon of unbreakable will. "None shall escape the Emperor's wrath." The guardsmen, spurred by the sight of the Astartes' fury, found their courage once more. They surged forward, lasguns blazing, bayonets fixed, charging into the fray like the loyal sons of terror they were. The sky darkened, and the warp roared as greater demons materialized, but the hammer was relentless. Malthor crushed a bloodthirster with a swing that cracked the heavens, its massive body dissipating in a fiery explosion. His armor was battered, his flesh torn, but the will of the Emperor flowed through him. Varencourt, now amidst the front line, rallied the remnants of his troops, his bolt pistol barking death as he shouted words of defiance. "For Cadia! For the Emperor!" The tide of battle shifted, if only for a moment. But moments in the crucible of war are what define the fate of worlds. And in that moment, the wrath of the Imperium was made manifest. The blackened ground of Cadia, once a symbol of the Imperium's fragility, became the anvil upon which the forces of chaos were broken. For on that day, the hammer of the Emperor fell, and no darkness, no demon, no heretic could stand against it. In the end, as the dust settled and the flames died, Varancourt stood amidst the ruins, staring at the bodies of the fallen. Malthor stood beside him, his armor covered in the blood of traitors, his breathing heavy but unyielding. "We held," Varan said, his voice grim. Malthor turned his gaze to the endless horizon, where more enemies undoubtedly lurked. "We will always hold. The Emperor demands it. And in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war."